we get the best that we can possibly get out of this tonight. So just if you do have any questions, just hold those to the end and we will be happy to answer those for you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in and share my screen so that you guys are can see what we're going to talk about tonight. So the first thing we're going to talk about here tonight is do a presentation. This is the MidMo Real Estate Club. Now, let me, what I want to do is see if I can pull up some chat here in case somebody needs to message me something. So let me pull up my chat. And then if anybody needs to message or anything along those lines, then I don't watch this chat all the time. So if I miss something, then we'll come back to it. Let me move this stuff out of the way. All right, so what I want to do is just welcome everyone onto the line. Welcome everybody. We're glad you're here. So what I want to do is I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about MidMo Real Estate Club and what we do. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to make sure that I hold a very strong promise to you guys for all of this. I don't want to waste your time. I have no reason to come in here, waste your time or anything along those lines. I want you all just to understand that I'm going to keep a strong promise and just make sure that I don't waste your time during this. But like I say, I will not be wasting your time. You guys have things to do. I have things to do. And so I'm sure everyone's primary thing was probably not to be here tonight, but I'll do my best to make sure that we've got something good for you here tonight. So I have nothing to sell you. So go ahead and let those walls go down. Let those walls go down. If you have your credit card or your wallet, go put it in the other room because there's nothing to sell you here tonight. I've got nothing to sell you, and even if you wanted to buy something from me, I have no way to take payments or anything like that during this thing. So nothing to sell you. So go ahead and let those walls go down and just listen to what we got to share with you tonight. Now, I do have something that I'm pretty convinced that you guys are going to want. And we'll talk about that here at the end. But the best thing about that is I'm going to give it to you for free. So you won't need to come in here and buy anything from me or anything along those lines. So just real quick, if you could go into the chat, I'm kind of curious on who has joined us tonight. If you could go into the chat and just kind of tell me what you do. I'm always kind of curious about who comes into these things. So just to start us off, are there any realtors in here tonight? Is there anybody that's a realtor? Go ahead and put in the chat. I'm interested to see, do we have any realtors? Not seeing any realtors. How about any real estate investors? Is there any current real estate investors in here right now? Gray says somewhat. Is that somewhat a real estate investor or somewhat a realtor?
Sorry, guys, I just jumped in kind of late.
Next question is, how about any attorneys? Do we have any attorneys onto the line? Any attorneys in here tonight? How about any contractors? Is there anybody out here who's currently a contractor? Are you doing any are you painters or anything along those lines? Any flooring folks? I see Courtney on there. I know Courtney. Courtney is an investor. How about any home inspectors? Any home inspectors onto the line right now? Any home inspectors? All right. So the next thing that really is the question is why are you guys here? Why has everybody showed up tonight? Why did they come here and take some time out of their evening tonight to show up? So really, there could be a lot of answers to that. And one of those answers is you might be a current real estate investor. If you're a current real estate investor, then you may be somebody that is wanting to maybe do more than what you've been currently doing. So if you're a current real estate investor, that's fine. You might have a job that you're just absolutely sick of, and you don't want to spend any more time there than you absolutely have to. You might be somebody who is just sick and tired of fulfilling your boss's dreams, and you want to start working on your own dreams. So that may be a reason why you're here. Really, I would venture to guess that just about everybody who's here onto the line has a strong interest in real estate investing. Otherwise, there wouldn't really be much reason for you to be here, because you all came here off of Facebook, and you all saw ads and that kind of thing. So you all know that this is about real estate and that kind of thing. So the bottom line is, you're here because you want to try and do some bigger things. So that's why you're all here. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about the Midwest Real Estate, or the MidMo Real Estate Club, right before we get started into this. So the MidMo Real Estate Club, we're located right here in Columbia, Missouri. We're an exclusive club, and we teach local people right here in Columbia how to get wealthy with real estate. Now, to do that, we provide all the software, we provide all the systems, we provide all the coaching, we provide all the accountability, we provide all the personal playbooks, and really every resource you're going to need to be successful as a real estate investor right here into Columbia. So we're going to have all the resources. We're going to have all of the purchase and sale agreements. We're going to have all of the assignment forms and that kind of stuff. We've got all that stuff. Now, we've got a strong track record here, and we've got a results-driven system where we don't make money unless you guys make money. Now, I'm going to tell you about myself. That's me and my wife over there in the onto the side there. Obviously, my wife is much better looking than I am. I obviously married up, so you just keep that in mind. The bald guy there obviously married up and found somebody much better and much better than he is. So my name is Jim Perkins, and I am 47 years old. I live right here in Columbia, Missouri, so I am not somebody who's going to jump on an airplane and fly off to the next city to do one of these presentations or anything along those lines. I'm right here in Columbia, Missouri. I invest right here in Columbia. So this is me, and this is where I'm at. Now, I've been investing for about 7 years, quickly approaching 8 years, but I've been investing right now for 7 years. And now I've invested roughly $100,000 into my real estate investing education. Now, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, but I've invested probably about $100,000 into my education so that I could learn how to do this. Now, I got to be honest with you though, my first deal that I did, my first deal absolutely almost bankrupted me. So really what happened on that deal is I did absolutely everything wrong. I was a brand new investor. I went out and I bought a house, and that house was really a dump and probably should have been torn down, but I didn't know any better than that. So I went in and I bought that house, and then I had contractors go in there and actually do the repairs for me, and they actually really took advantage of me and really went overpriced on that thing. And then the worst thing that could possibly happen, once I put that thing onto the MLS, well, that thing didn't sell. So I had to go in and do some other strategies and some other things, and really try and figure out how to do this, because I was convinced that I was going to continue to do this and I was going to be successful at it. So that first deal almost bankrupted me. But I brought that thing back around, and I've made I did some math on it the other day, and I've probably made $40,000 to $50,000 on that property now, and I still actually own that property, and I'm owner financing that property as somebody else. And by the time it's all said and done, I will have made about a $270,000 profit on that property alone. So that first deal absolutely almost bankrupted me. And the reason I tell you guys that is because I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes that I've done. So I've been there, I've done that, I've bought the book, and so if I can save you guys some heartbreak and not have to put you guys through some of the things that I've had to go through to get to this point, then that is something that appeals to me. So now I'm currently earning 6 figures a year, and I've developed a 7-figure net wealth through real estate investing. And I don't say that to try and impress anyone, but I've stuck with it. Even when I had that first property that was just horrible for me, I stuck with it and kept working on it. And so now I've built myself within that 7 years up to that 7-figure net wealth. Now I'm a local investor. I'm a private lender. I'm a systems nerd. So I have systems that we're just developing all the time. And I'm a real estate coach. So that's who I am. Now, I think that Columbia, Missouri is really the perfect place, the perfect real estate market for flipping houses. So, and the reason I think that is lots of reasons. So, but if you guys were to start thinking about now of where you think the best markets in Columbia are to flip houses, go ahead and put that into the chat. Go ahead and put that in there. I'd be interested to see what you guys think. So go ahead and put into the chat what you think is the best area to be flipping houses. Let's see what we've got. Alexa says by the mall. Anyone else? Southwest. Southwest is a great area. North side, out north. South side. Courtney thinks the north side will be moving up soon. Probably. South side. So lots of different areas. So let me tell you what we do. So currently, what we do is we flip homes in a 25-mile radius of Columbia. Now, in that 25-mile radius, there's really 20 cities in that 25-mile radius. They're both big and small. The biggest, obviously, is Columbia, but there's a lot of small areas in that as well, like Ashland and Hallsville and that kind of thing. So there's lots of smaller areas in that 25-mile radius. Now, in that 25-mile radius, what we do is we invest in 7 of those. We invest in 7 out of those 20, and there's really 13 areas that we can't invest in. There's 13 that we cannot invest in. So, and I'm going to tell you about that here as we go along. But real estate investing, everybody's heard the term location. Well, real estate investing is absolutely all about location. Now, what we do here is we take location to a completely different level, and we like to use systems, and we really believe a lot in automation, and we create tools that really make our life as a real estate investor easier. So we use the tools and the automation, and we do a lot of those things to really make things easier for ourselves as we go along. Now, how do most investors go out there and try and determine where they're going to flip houses? Well, really what they do is most investors go out there and they pick areas that they know well. So you may go out there and say, well, this is where I grew up and I know that area, so I'm going to buy houses there and flip houses there. Or you may have gone to school in a certain area or something along those lines, or you may work in a certain area, and so you think those areas are good, and that those areas are good areas to be flipping houses. So in reality, what they're doing is they're investing blind because they don't know their numbers. They don't know their numbers, and the numbers will absolutely tell you where you should go and what you should do as you're investing. So now, since they invest blind, that's why 91% of investors fail, they lose money, and they go broke before they actually make it. So that's what I did. I invested somewhere that I shouldn't have invested in, and I did that absolutely because I didn't know my numbers. And if I hadn't have brought myself back from that first deal, then I would have absolutely gone broke doing that. So what smart investors do is they buy houses where they already know that buyers are buying. Now, that obviously is just some common sense right there, but that's how you really need to decide where you're going to do your investing, not by this is where I went to school or this is the area I know. You need to go through and learn the numbers so that you know that you're buying houses where you already know buyers are buying. Now, we already talked about kind of what those hottest areas for flipping houses are. You guys have already put those into there, but so we're going to move on to that, and we are going to talk about what is called the sweet spot locator. Now, don't anybody go out there and Google this and try and find it, because there's a cost to this, and like I said up front, there's no reason for you to be going out there and buying anything, because if anything that you need, like I already told you, you'll be able to just go out there and I can provide everything that you absolutely need. So Alexis is saying that she's heard about the sweet spot locator. All right, so this is software that we use. It pinpoints the best areas for you to buy houses in, and it's 100% data driven. And it just tells you the areas that buyers are buying, that they're currently buying. And then what's even more important is it tells you where buyers are not buying. So it's really important to know that you want to know where they're buying, but it's even more important to know the areas that buyers are not buying. So that you don't go out there and buy a house into the wrong area and have not be able to sell that house once you're done with it. So this is software that we use in order to help determine these areas, and really it allows us to make great investing decisions. So this really helps us as we go through and determine what we're going to do. Now, I'm going to show you how the sweet spot locator works. So when you pull up the sweet spot locator, it's going to have a form on there, and really all you do is you go in there and you scan in your local market. So you can see on this snapshot here, I've already put in Columbia, Missouri, and then you just go in and you click the scan now button, and then you scan your area. So what that does is that's going to pull up a report. So that before you pull up the report, you're going to go in there and you're going to adjust how far out you want to do your investing. So I've got this set at 25 miles. You can do different. You can go up to 50 miles. You can do less. You can go 10 miles. Whatever is what you want to do with it. And then you just click the scan now button, and it just automatically calculates everything for you. So at that point, it's going to pull up a report for you, and it's going to start telling you what your sweet spots are. So you can start to go into there, and you can see that it tells me what my prehab zones are, my rehab zones, my wholesale zones, and then it also tells me my avoid zones. So then after you pull up the report, it breaks it down into zip code areas, and it starts to give you the units sold and the average price and so on and so forth. So this is where you really get down into the nuts and bolts of it. And you'll see that as I pull this up, this tells me the prehab zones are specifically these zip codes. And then there's also the rehab zones, and it goes on from there. But this tells you the best areas to buy homes in. And then it also tells you the places where you should avoid buying homes. So if you remember, it had on there, it said the avoid zones. So the avoid zones are places where you would not be going in there and buying houses, and the reason behind that is because either the houses are not priced right, or there's just not enough buyers in that area that are actually buying houses. So those are the areas to stay away from. So we use that sweet spot to really identify where we should be at. But the other thing it does for us is it also tells us, not only when we buy the home, it tells us what we should do to that home in order for us to make money when we actually go out there and we flip that house. Because it tells us, do a prehab in this area, or do a rehab in this area, or do a wholesale in this area. It tells us exactly what we need to be doing into each of those. So now, when you get into here, into real estate, you really have three main exit strategies. there's more than three, but you have the three main ones unless you intend to be a buy and hold investor, holding rentals and that kind of thing. So the three main exit strategies are wholesale. So you got wholesale properties, and then you've got prehab. Prehab is when you go out there and you buy a property, and then you fix up that property basically to where it's basically rental ready, and then you put that property out onto the MLS and sell that property onto the MLS. But it's based upon the area that you buy it in. And then you've also got the rehab, and the rehab is the area where you're going to go out there and you're going to really deck that house out, and that's when you're going to put in all new doors. You may be doing roofs or those kind of things. So you're going to make those properties absolutely top of the line because the buyers in those areas are demanding that you have to rehab that property fully for you to be able to go out there and make money onto that property. So the three main strategies are going to be the wholesale, the prehab, and the rehab. Now you can always do some other owner financing kind of things, or you can do some buy and hold investing and or some Airbnb and that kind of stuff. So those are all different things, but these are what I would call the three main exit strategies that you're going to have on most of these properties. Now tonight I'm going to have time to cover wholesaling. So that's what I'm going to talk about tonight is wholesaling. So now on a wholesale deal, the wholesaling is the process of putting a property under contract, and then you take that contract and you assign that, or you resell that to a property, or you resell that to another investor at a higher price. So really the way that's going to look is if you go out there and let's say you find a motivated buyer or a motivated seller that needs to sell their property, and then you go out there and you find that seller and you enter into a conversation with that seller and give them an offer, and they accept. So let's say that they've accepted that offer for $100,000. And so then what you would do is you would take that contract that you have, and then you would just start immediately marketing that contract out to an investor buyer at a higher price. So once you do that, let's say you do that, and that's when you go out there and you find a buyer, and they're willing to pay you $110,000 for that contract. So basically they're stepping into your shoes as the buyer of that property, and then you're going to keep the difference into the middle. So if you had it under contract for $100,000, then you're going to, and you sell that for $110,000, then you keep the money that's in the middle with $10,000 with no money out of pocket. Now Alexis says that she's doing that. Alexis, go into the chat. Are you assigning deals or are you double closing deals? I'd like to see what you're doing. So basically you go in there and you keep the difference in the middle. And so you would have $10,000 that comes to you with no money out of your pocket. You never closed on that property, and you really had no risk in that property at any point. So now this is what I would call a standard wholesale deal. This is a deal that we went out there and we wholesaled this deal, and you'll see that the Alexis says that she's assigning. Good. Alexis says that she's assigning. So this is your standard wholesale deal. So what you would see is that really this property looks, the before pictures look exactly like the after pictures. That's because we did absolutely nothing to this property when we sold this one. And this property, I don't remember the exact dollar figure, but we ended up making about $8,700 or something along those lines on this property when we wholesaled this deal. So that is your standard wholesale deal. It's going to look exactly the same when you sell it as it looked like when you actually went out there and bought it. Now, to do this wholesale deal, what I need is 3 volunteers. So we're going to need the same 3 volunteers on either the wholesale assignment or a wholesale double close, which Alexis has said she's heard about double closing too. Well, we're going to talk about some double closing tonight. I'm gonna take a drink real quick. So we're going to talk first about the wholesale assignment. Now, on the wholesale assignment, first thing you're going to need is a seller. So you got to go out there and you got to market, do some marketing and find that motivated seller. And you're going to find that motivated seller. And then you're going to go out there and have a conversation with that seller and put that property under contract. So now, as the wholesaler is going to come in there. They get that property under contract from that seller, and then the wholesaler is going to go out there and they start to market that contract out to an investor buyer. That investor buyer, once they find that investor buyer, then that investor buyer is basically going to step into the shoes of the wholesaler. And then at that point, the wholesaler drops out of the equation. They assign that deal over to the investor buyer. And so really what the wholesaler is doing is they're selling the contract. They're not actually selling the house. Now, the other way to do this is called the wholesale double close. Now, the wholesale double close, you need the same people. You're going to have the seller. You do the same exact thing. You go out there and you put out marketing in order to find that motivated seller who needs to sell. And it could be a number of reasons why they need to sell, but you're going to put out marketing, find that motivated seller. You're going to have that enter into that conversation, and you're going to talk to them, put your offer out there, and then let's say that they accept that offer. So the wholesaler puts that property under contract. Now, the wholesaler on this one, they actually go all the way to closing on this deal. Now, they're still going to go out there. They're still going to market for their investor buyer that's going to come out there and double close onto this property, and they're going to buy that property from the wholesaler. But on a double close, the wholesaler is actually going to close that deal, and then could be 15 minutes later, it could be a couple hours later, it could be a day or two later, but basically the investor buyer is going to come in there and they are going to purchase that property from the wholesaler. So on a double close, the person who drops out of this equation is the seller, because the seller is once a wholesaler closes on the deal, they own it, and then they can go out there and they can sell that property to the investor buyer. So the difference is on this is the wholesaler sells the house after closing, so they have actually taken title to the property. Now, there's a reason you're going to use that, and you're going to use that on larger deals. And the reason for that is because if you have a large wholesale deal, then it's generally just going to be common for people to say, if I'm an investor buyer and you're going to make $30,000 or $40,000 and you've really had not very much risk into this entire process because you're just reselling that property to me within just a few minutes, then a lot of the investor buyers will look at that and they'll say, if you're making $30,000 to $40,000 on that wholesale deal, then you're making too much money. So a lot of times they may look at that and say, well, I'm not going to buy that property because you're making too much money on that, and I think that should be my money. I think I'm having higher risk into that deal, and so no, by large deals I don't mean multiple properties. I mean larger paychecks. So the $30,000 or $40,000 deal. That's what I'm talking about. So really on those, when you do those deals, you're going to end up having to go in and double close those because the investor buyers just are not going to allow you to go out there and make that $30,000 or $40,000 doing that flip or doing that wholesale deal over to the investor buyer. So you're going to use the double close on larger deals, and then the deals that are smaller, you can just go out there and you can just assign those because they'll be able to accept that and say, okay, it makes sense for you to make $5,000, $10,000 on a deal. That makes sense. Now, in reality, it really shouldn't matter, because if the numbers work for the investor buyer, then it shouldn't really matter how much the wholesaler is going to make on that deal. But that's just not the way people are. So in order to basically hide the amount of money that you're going to make on the deal, then you end up double closing that deal, and then the investor buyer buys that from you. Now, you do have some some added fees and that kind of thing. So into those kind of deals. So you will have some added fees, but those added fees are basically taken care of by the fact that you're making a lot more money when you actually double close on that property. So now there is some major problems with wholesaling. Now I'm going to talk about those major problems and so that you guys are familiar with those. And the biggest thing is that almost everyone here, or almost everyone that wholesales properties, is they're doing it wrong and they're doing it illegal. So I'm going to tell you the two main reasons why people do this wrong and do this illegal. Now, the first one is a lot of people, what they do is they go out there and they just put a bunch of properties under contract. They put as much deals under contract as they possibly can, and they tie it up so the seller can't sell it to anyone else. Now, in reality, a lot of times they even say that themselves. They say, "I'm tying it up. I'm tying it up." But then at the end of the day, when they can't find an end buyer because it's really not a good deal, if they can't find an end buyer to wholesale that deal to, and they don't close on their agreement that they just had with that seller, then that's a major problem. And guys, that's fraud. You can't go out there and enter into a contract with someone and say, and when it doesn't go your way, say, okay, well, I'm not going to close on this agreement anymore. You've just committed fraud. You can't do that. And then the other thing that happens is a lot of people, they go out there and they market for their investor buyer illegally because they market a house that they don't even own. They shouldn't be marketing that house. They need to be marketing that contract. So if you don't own the house, you can't go out there and you can't be putting out pictures of the property. You can't be putting out the address. You can't be putting signs into the yard. You can't do any of that. That's not legal for you to do that if you're an investor buyer. Now, the people who can do those kind of things, who are they? They're called realtors. Realtors go to training and they pay fees in order to learn how to do this stuff, and they actually enter into a fiduciary duty with the sellers, so that they can go out there and they can actually market properties this way. But investor buyers, we can't do it this way. We cannot market properties basically acting as if we're the owner when we are not the owner. That's illegal. You can't do that. So I want to introduce you to a friend of mine here. The guy who's on the left, his name is Jeff Watson. He's an attorney in the Cleveland area. Cleveland, Ohio, but he's really you guys aren't going to be able to hire him. He doesn't take on clients, but he's got offices in Ohio. He's got offices in Texas. He's a friend of mine, and he's really taught me most of the stuff that I know about wholesaling. Now, the other people that you see into this picture, one of them's name is Kim, and I can't remember the other lady's name, but they are members of, and Kim is actually the main person, the lead person in something called ARELO. That's the Association of Real Estate Licensed Law Officials. So what these folks do is they actually go out there and they are the wholesale police. So they go out there and they are looking for people who are doing this wrong and doing this illegal. And so what they do is they go out there and they have conferences and that kind of thing, and they'll put up slideshows. And Jeff has sat into these rooms. He's the only attorney that I know that is not in ARELO that has actually been allowed to sit into these rooms and listen to what they tell him or what they're saying. And so basically they go through and they show slide shows on what people are doing to sell these houses, and then when they're done, they'll start to go after those people. So and really all it takes is for somebody to be doing this wrong and doing this illegal. And if a realtor sees that and you start to do a lot of deals, well, what you're really doing is you're starting to take food off of the realtor's table for their kids. And so they should absolutely go out there and they should report people that are doing this illegal and doing this wrong, because they've had to go through the steps to do this the correct way, we as wholesalers should be doing this the correct way too. So now, the folks at Arello will tell you that wholesaling is absolutely 100% legal. You just have to be doing it the correct way. So really what we do is with Jeff, he's sat into these rooms and he's had these conversations. He's known what they're looking for, and then Jeff really set up really what we should be doing. Now Jeff is also a member of Quest Trust, which is a self-directed IRA. He's on the board of directors there, and then he's also spends a lot of time lobbying in Washington D.C. He takes pictures on his Facebook all the time of him on airplanes wearing his face mask, and they always have a different saying on his face mask. So it's kind of fun to watch him, and he loves Chick-fil-A. He goes to Chick-fil-A everywhere he possibly can. So, but Jeff sits into these rooms and he knows what these folks are looking at. He knows what they're trying to find and that kind of thing. So really, but all we need to do is we just need to do it right. We need to do it right, and when we do it right, we'll actually make more money. We'll make more money when we do things the correct way and not try and cut corners and not do things illegal. So when you do it right, here's a check for $44,000. What if you got 2 of those? Here's a check for $45,000. What if you did 8 of those? That's a bank account where it starts down at $5,000 with an initial investment, and you'll see 2 deals, another 2 deals, then another deal. Now we're up to 7, 8 deals. There's 8 deals on this. And that bank account went from $5,000 to $342,000. So what if you got 8 of those? Well, here's those 8. Here's those 8 properties, and that ugly guy right there, that's Butch. Butch is a friend of mine also. Butch went out there and he got all these properties. Now, Butch didn't go out there, and Butch isn't special. Butch didn't go out there. Butch didn't find any of those deals. He assigned all those deals. He didn't go out there. He didn't. Excuse me, he didn't find any of those deals. He didn't go out there. He didn't fix up any of those deals. He sold them as is. He didn't go out there. He didn't fund any of those deals. And he didn't make any monthly payments on $250,000 loan that he got from a private lender in the club. Now, Butch really didn't have any risk in any of those deals. Now, the thing to keep in mind is wholesaling is just one way that you're going to make money in real estate. So there's other ways. So wholesaling is one way. We talked about prehabbing. We talked about rehabbing. You can also go out there and you can buy properties subject to. You could go out there and you could buy properties under land contracts, so on and so forth. You could also be a buy and hold investor where you buy the properties and you keep them and rent them out. So you can do all of that. Now, if I were to ask you, if you were to go in there and get a deal under contract and you were to go out there and to wholesale that deal, I want to know, go ahead and put into the chat, if you would, and just tell me how long you think it takes to actually sell that deal. How long do you think it takes to sell a wholesale deal? Go into the chat and let me know what you think. 30 days? Anyone else? I got 30 days. Courtney said a good one, less than 24 hours. Anyone else? 2 weeks? 7 to 30 days? Well, let me tell you, the average time that it takes us to wholesale a deal, 7 minutes. Now, I'm going to tell you why it takes us 7 minutes to do that. So in our club, what we have is 4 different buckets. Now the first bucket is basically the finding bucket. So the finding bucket is folks that go out there and all they do is they're just looking for properties. They're just finding properties, and then they basically take those properties, and then they'll bring those properties to me. I'll help them structure that deal, and then once they structure that deal, then really at that point I'll pick up the phone and I will start to talk to people who are in our fixing bucket. So our fixing bucket, those are our folks that are just going out there and they're rehabbing properties, and those folks, they are not out there looking for properties. All they're doing is rehabbing properties, and they just take the properties that the people in our finding bucket go out there and find. So our finding bucket finds them. They take them right over to the people that are into our fixing bucket. They will fix them up. We also have a funding bucket. So the people in the funding bucket, as long as it meets their criteria, then they can go out there and they can fund those deals for the people who are doing the fix and flips. And then we also have the flipping bucket, which would be the people that go out there and all they're concentrated on is just selling all these deals. So it really just works like an assembly line for each person to go in there and just to do all of these deals. So now I was challenged, and really I was challenged, and really what it boils down to is everybody, I'm convinced that I have good systems and know what I'm doing. And so I was challenged basically by everybody. Everybody says the same thing. Why don't you just go out there and teach me how to do this and don't charge me anything? Just go ahead and teach me how to do this for free, and then you can get paid when I get paid. Everybody says that. Everybody says that. And I accept it. So I took that challenge. So really what you've got is you got somebody who is convinced that their systems are good enough, because we can go out there and we can teach people how to flip houses for free. So now we teach in Columbia. We teach in Columbia for free, and we only get paid when you get paid. These are some folks who are in our system right now. So I want to go back to training for just a little bit. I want to tell you why I feel like most training and coaching programs are flawed. Now, everybody's seen these coaching programs. You guys, I'm sure you've seen the ones from all the people who are on TV, the fix and flip TV shows. They all have one of these things where they go out there and they're teaching people how to do flip deals and whatnot. So really what that is you go into those, and then really they're going to charge you $25,000 to $50,000 up front. So they're going to get you into their program. You're going to go through a couple different levels of that. And the first one's going to cost you a couple $1,000s, and they just keep pushing you up. And eventually you're going to get into where they're trying to convince you to buy into their coaching program. It's going to cost you $25,000 to $50,000 up front. And it's absolutely worth that. I'm not saying that it's not. It's absolutely worth $25,000 to $50,000 up front. They give you the information that you need to do it. The other thing that happens is the training isn't really broken down very well. Everything's out of order. Now, the reason for that is because you just went out there and you just purchased a $25,000 to $50,000 coaching program that they need to go out there and immediately deliver $25,000 to $50,000 worth of content to you. And the reason they do that is because what do they not want? They don't want you to refund the money that you paid up front. So they're going to send you all of this information. So you're going to have to sift through all this information. A lot of it is out of order, doesn't take you down step by step of the things that you should be doing in order to do deals. So it's not broken down very well. So then the next thing that goes on with this is that your personal coach, generally these guys, they fly in, they do like a 2 or 3 day boot camp, and then they fly out to the next city where they're going to do it all over again. So, but really your personal coach, they almost never know how to help you here in your backyard market, because they can't really hold you accountable because it's really all too virtual. You never have anyone who's actually into the area that you can talk to, and so on and so forth. So then the other part is that if you buy into one of these things, you feel alone, and it's all up to you. And you realize this once you get that first deal under contract and your assigned coach isn't right there to help you make money. Now, the other thing with this is the funding. So good luck with this. You guys, you went out there and you just maxed out credit cards, or you use your IRA or something along those lines to pay for this $50,000 coaching program. So no lender is going to really go out there at that point and really lend you the money that you need to be able to do a deal, because you just have too much debt. But now their training programs, they all show you how to raise private funds, right? Well, the other problem with that is no private lender is going to lend you money or lend money to someone with no experience, and you're never really going to pitch yourself in the first place, because it makes you feel uncomfortable, because you're going to feel like they won't really lend to you anyways. Now, I'm not bashing anyone. I'm just telling you the truth on why I think most coaching sets you up for failure. I'm not bashing them at all. But now I do things different. I do things very different from what they do it. Now, the upfront, the cost, we're willing to give you our proprietary systems and our information. We're going to hold you accountable and be your boots on the ground coach for free. You're not going to pay us $25,000, $50,000 up front, so you're not going to go into debt to do any of this. Now, our training is in order, and it's completely step by step, and so we have a earn while you learn system. So really, we break this down so that really you just follow step by step, and as you follow step by step, then you'll see exactly how to do things and when to do it. Now, we don't provide $50,000 worth of content up front, because what I think is that what you do is you get stuck into a learning phase and less into a doing phase. So, but if you want to make money in real estate, you got to be out there doing the deals and doing the system. So we give you what you need when you need it, and so it's really an earn while you learn system. Now, personal coach, guys, I'm right here in Columbia. I know this area. And the reality of it is we're only going to get paid when you get paid. So this sets you up for success, and it's really just a results first driven system. Now, the student, which would be you, is you're going to have us guiding you. We're going to we'll even help you find deals. Sometimes we just hand out leads. Sometimes we just hand out deals. Really, we're here for your success. And then the funding, well, we have a network of lenders. They can fund deals for you. They're going to have, we have private lenders in the club. They really care less about your past. They care less about your credit score. Who knows, maybe even one of you guys could even get to the point where you are a lender inside of the club, making extra money, lending on deals instead of just always just rehabbing the deals. So, but we have lenders in there. Now, obviously your deal has to meet their criteria and that kind of thing. Everybody basically needs skin in the game on deals and that kind of thing, but we can help with all of that as well. What it boils down to is if you don't make any money, we're not going to make any money. We're 100% results driven. The only way we make money into this is if we help you make money. Now, what I need to ask now is if there's anybody in here onto the line that would basically be an excuse maker. Is anybody here onto the line? Do they look into the mirror and it's never their fault if something goes wrong, or it's always the other person's fault, so on and so forth? If there's anybody in here that's excuse makers that they can say, well, I can't find any deals or whatnot. If there's anybody here that's an excuse maker, then I got to be honest for you, then this just isn't for you. It's not for you, and it's not for me at that point. So if there's any excuse makers on the line, then this is probably the time where you should go ahead and get off the line. But the other part of this is that real estate is all about creating win-win situations. So we want to go out there, we want to create a win-win situation for the sellers, and that's how you're going to start getting paid into the real estate business. You create win-win situations. Now, how many people are you in here are win-win people? Go ahead and go into the chat while I have a drink. If you're a win-win person, let me know. Paul is a win-win person. Marche is win-win. Alexis is win-win. All right, Tina is always. So we got some people who are win-win. So that makes me happy because I want to see you guys win. I want to see you guys win, and I want to see you win often. So now the other question to that is, how many of you are willing to do what it takes to be successful? How many of you are willing to go out there and do the work to be successful? And honestly, you can do this in 10 hours or less a week. I'm going to show you methods that you can do this in 10 hours or less a week. But you guys, you have to be willing to do what it takes to be successful. So really, we're looking for action takers, people who are action takers. How many of you are willing to do what it takes to be successful? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give each of you your first win-win opportunity tonight. So what I've done is I've auto-enrolled everyone into the next 5 weeks to teach you the insides of wholesaling for free, and we're gonna get you into our Earn While You Learn system. Now we do other things as well. We don't just wholesale. Now we're going to teach you wholesaling here for free, and we do everything else for free as well. But we're going to start with wholesaling, but we can teach you how to fix and flip. We can teach you all of that stuff, but we're going to get you inside our wholesaling for free so that we can get you into our Earn While You Learn system. Now, in the next 5 weeks, we're going to focus on 4 core systems. 4 core systems that we're going to focus on hard over the next 5 weeks. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start talking about finding deals and what you need to do to uncover these deals, these hidden gold mines, and not spend a penny doing it, not spend any money doing it. And we're going to show you ways to do this, and we're going to do this on the very next call that we have. And really, there's 14 of them. We're gonna share with you guys 14 different ways that you can be going out there and finding deals. We're also going to go over the legal way to wholesale real estate. We're also going to be talking about how to properly market your wholesale deals so that you can sell them immediately and for top dollar. And then we're going to even go out and we're going to start looking at some real potential deals together. And who knows, we may even buy one of them. We may even buy a couple of them. Reality is, I'm only here to get you doing deals, and I want to do those deals with you. So in exchange for our MidMo Real Estate Club, now everybody is probably thinking, well, he's not going to do this for free. He's not going to do all this work for free. And you're absolutely right. I mean, I'm not going to do it for free, but that doesn't mean that paying this has to come out of your pocket. So you're absolutely right. But what we're going to do is we're going to give you our proprietary information, our systems for free. We're going to be able to coach you for free. We're going to be able to go all in on you and help you make money in real estate for free. So in order for us to do that, all we want to do is we just want to split all the profits on the deals that we help you do. We want to split all those evenly. So we just want to go out there and we want to help you do deals. And then we just want to split the profits on those deals that we help you do. That's it. And so you're not going out there and you're not paying us $25,000. You're not paying us $50,000 for the real estate education, which is absolutely worth every bit of that. But you're not paying us that. We're just going to split profits evenly. So the schedule for the next 5 weeks, we're going to meet every Wednesday. Every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. We're going to meet right here on Zoom, just like we did, except for October 27th. Now, October 27th is going to be a different meeting place for us, because we're going to find a property that we're going to go out there and we're going to basically have a field trip on that property. We're going to go out there and look at a real deal and really talk about that real deal. And if it's a good enough deal, then maybe we'll buy it, or maybe somebody here in the group will buy it. And if you do, then we'll help you guys sell that thing. But that's we're going to go on October 27th. We're going to find a deal and we're going to go out there and do that deal. So you may be asking yourself, well, what's next? Because we're getting kind of down to the end here. What's next? So for us to move forward, what we're going to need to do is just sign a 5-week contract in order for us to move forward with each and every one of you. So really, we can release our information to you for the next 5 weeks, and we can start doing deals together. Now, I got to be upfront and honest. If somebody's not willing to sign a 5-week contract for us to work with them for the next 5 weeks, then if you're not willing to do that, then it's just not a fit, and we just need to go our separate ways, because we're going to be giving you lots of information. You're not paying anything for this information, or anything along those lines. So really, we need to have this just so that we can know that we're going to be working with each other, and basically so people don't try and go around us and cut us out of the deal when we've helped you with everything. So in order to do that, what we're going to have you do is go to 6weekworkshop.com, and we're going to have you fill out a short form right there. Now I'm going to put that into the chat. Make sure I spell it right. 6weekworkshop.com. So there it is into the chat. You can go ahead and copy and paste that into your browser, and you can go there and fill out that quick form. Now on that, after everyone's filled out that form, so what we'll do is we're going to send out a text message to everyone tomorrow with a new Zoom link on it, with the time for next Wednesday, so that you're going to have that onto your phone, you're going to have that onto your calendar. So we're going to send that out. It'll be a new Zoom link, so we will not be meeting on this same Zoom link, because obviously if people are not interested in going out there and working with us and signing the contract, then they're not going to move on to the next week. So what I want to do real quick is I'm going to take you guys to the form real quick. So just so you can see what it looks like, this is it. It says MidMo Real Estate Club. It's a free 6-week application agreement. I'm going to have you guys put in you're just going to ask you for your email. It's going to ask you for your first name. It's going to ask you for your last name. It's going to ask you for your cell phone. It's going to ask you for your address. So that's in case we want to send you guys something, we would need your address. We'll have you guys put into there what your current occupation is. And now keep in mind, nothing in here is asking you to pay us any money. That's not what we're doing here. But I do have on here that if you came across a killer deal and you had to close on it in 7 days, how much money do you think you can come up with in that time frame? And that's just to find out where everybody's at. So just put in there what you think you can come up with. Again, I'm not charging you anything, so that's not me trying to go around and charge you anything, because that's not what we're doing here. And then I want to know, what about getting into the club? What about this excites you? And so just put anything in there. I want to know what excites you about this opportunity with that. And then we have just a real quick boilerplate agreement language that says that we're going to be working together, and it specifies that this agreement is from October 6th, which is today, until November 10th. So pretty clear. It's a 6-week contract for us to be able to work together. And then down at the bottom, I just have you type in your full name down below, and you just put that information in there. So that's what you would do. Go back into this and go back into this. So again, that website is 6weekworkshop.com. I've got that into the chat. Now, does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Onto the line. If you have a question, just go ahead and unmute yourself so that we can talk.
I got a question.
Any questions? Anyone? Whoop.
I got a question. Can you hear me?
Alexis, you have a question? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I did. Can you hear me? Oh, wow.
I did it, yeah.
Doesn't seem like you can what? You guys not hearing me?
Everybody hear me but you.
How about now? Can you hear me?
I hear you. I don't think you can hear me.
If somebody has a question, you'll have to go in and unmute yourself.
You hear Alexis, you can't.
Looks
Right.
like Alexis has. I'm not hearing you.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing you. Alexis, go ahead and type into your question then, because I can't hear you.
Okay.
Try again. I may have had my computer muted.
How about now?
Oh, I got you. I got you. Yeah, I had my computer muted. Sorry about that.
Nah, you good. I was like, oh, I know my stuff not messing up. So I just pretty much wanted to know, because looking at the information you got in the form you want us to fill out, are you? What's up, Aiden? Sorry about that. No, just wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Anyway, I just wanted to know, was you only taking the half for just the 6 weeks, or would that be the full time that we working together? Period.
6 weeks. 6 weeks.
Okay. Okay. So it's kind of like a JV. Y'all just JVing pretty much.
Yeah. 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 That basically works out as a JV agreement where we're. It says that we're working together on the deals that we do together during the 6 weeks. Now, obviously, if something is goes under contract during those 6 weeks and then it goes a little beyond those 6 weeks, then we would still split that. But if it's something that comes after those 6 weeks, then it's not included in that.
Okay, that makes sense. It's fine. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Anyone else? Anyone else have any questions?
Hi,
I have a
Jim.
question.
All right. Who's that? Go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. My question is, would you be interested in any investments yourself?
Yes, I invest. Yes.
Sweet.
If you have something, then you can absolutely send it to me.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, Jim. This is Christina.
Yes.
So after our time together is up, then we still have access to all of the systems, or what happens next? Like you said, like right now, it would just be focusing mostly on wholesaling. What else comes after that?
Well, after that, if we decide that we like working together and that kind of thing, then we could absolutely continue to do it. I'm going to show you guys some things that I think that you would be interested in, and you can absolutely join me in that if you want. But that would require a separate agreement and that kind of, basically a separate JV agreement if we continue to work together. But we're going to show you a lot of stuff during the 6 weeks.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Any other questions? All right, I put that back into the chat again, just in case anybody missed it. If you're interested in moving forward, you will need to go ahead and do that tonight, so that we know who's moving forward with us. Because, like I said, we will be sending out a text message tomorrow, so that we can send out a new Zoom link to everybody who is going to be staying with us. And like I said, the next one we're gonna be talking about 14 different deals, or 14 different ways that you can get deals. We're going to be talking about that, and we've got a lot of stuff that we're going to cover during the 6 weeks, and we'll even show you some stuff that really makes our job easier. Remember, I told you we're systems nerds, and so we've got a lot of things in here that really make our life easier, and so I'll be sharing those things with you guys, and so on and so forth. So Any more questions? Any more questions before we jump off of the line tonight? Let's see where we at. We're just a little over an hour, so I kept that promise. We're not too terribly far into this. So anything else before we end tonight? All right, not hearing anything else. So just go ahead, go into that the 6-week workshop, and then once you've gone into that 6-week workshop, I don't understand your question. What is the average turnaround time for investors? I don't understand that.
Hey, Jim, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey. Yeah, so you mentioned the different buckets of people that you have in your system. And
Yeah.
so, if we were interested in being in the investor sort of loaning bucket, what's the typical turnaround
for the investment?
Yeah, what's the typical turnaround time for that investment? And also, how much is typically needed to help someone, in a flip or a wholesale or what have you?
Well, as far as the average turnaround time, that's really going to depend upon what you're doing, because you could be lending on earnest money, or you could be lending something on maybe on the double close. And so if you lend on that double close, then that could be a matter of minutes, or it could be a matter of a day or two. It just all depends on when that double close actually goes. Or if you end up lending on a fix and flip, then it really, at that point, it just kind of depends on the time frame of what that fix and flip is going to take and how much work is needed, and so on and so forth. So I can't really give you a specific time frame on that. It's really your goals and that kind of thing. And then I think the other part of your question is how much money do you need to be able to do something along those lines and to lend out on that. And really it's just deal dependent. So we do lots of different things, so that sometimes it takes a lot of money to do a deal, and other times we can get a deal done because we have certain ways that we do it, and maybe it might take $20,000 or less. I mean, it's really just kind of depends on the deal, specific deals and that kind of thing. So, but if you're interested in that, then we can absolutely help you with that. And really, you're going to be able to set your parameters and that kind of thing. I'm not in here telling you have to lend to people and so on and so forth. It's obviously, if you're in the funding bucket, then it's your decision on who you lend to and that kind of thing. We're going to show you the deals, and we're going to show you the amount of money that you can make, and then it's up to you whether you are convinced in that project or not. Hope that
Okay, sounds good, Jim. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Anything else? All right. If there's not anything else, then I'm going to go ahead and jump off the line. Remember, 6weekworkshop.com, and we'll see you guys on next Wednesday. See you guys.